If you're a chosen one watching this right now, pause everything. This message isn't random. God is about to interrupt your timeline. I woke up at 3 a.m. with this burning message that wouldn't let me rest. God showed me clearly. Many of you are in a divine holding pattern, feeling stuck, confused why doors keep closing. But what looks like delay is actually divine protection. Heaven is about to compress years into moments. Listen closely. That frustration you've been feeling, those sudden roadblocks, the plans that dissolved even after prayer, these aren't failures. They're divine interruptions. God's way of redirecting you before you walk into the wrong season. God only interrupts timelines when destiny is about to collide with purpose. Chosen one, before we go deeper, pause for a moment. If this message is already speaking to your spirit, don't just watch silently. Subscribe now so you don't miss the confirmations God sends your way. You know how the enemy tries to distract you right when you need a word the most. The intensity of warfare in your life right now isn't punishment, it's confirmation. The enemy doesn't fight what carries no threat. Your assignment has grown too significant to ignore. You've felt it already. A restlessness in your spirit, dreams intensifying, random people confirming things only God could have told them about you. Your spirit recognizes movement before your mind catches up. Some of you are questioning your sanity because what God is showing you seems impossible from where you stand. But heaven operates outside human limitations. What you call stuck is often God positioning you exactly where you need to be when the acceleration begins. Right now, angels are rearranging circumstances on your behalf. What seemed chaotic was divine interference. What felt like rejection was spiritual redirection. The timeline disruption has already begun. The question is, are you spiritually alert enough to recognize it? Have you noticed people suddenly pulling away, relationships ending without explanation, connections that once felt secure now feeling distant? This isn't coincidence. It's divine separation. God is creating necessary space around you. Not everyone currently in your life is meant to enter your next season. Some connections were only assigned to you for a specific time, a specific lesson. Their departure isn't rejection. It's heaven's protection before your elevation. The painful truth, some people were close to you only because your light was dim enough not to threaten them. As God increases your glow, watch how quickly they find reasons to exit. This separation hurts deeply, but it's actually mercy. God is removing access before exposure. Think about it. The same people who applauded your potential often become uncomfortable with your progress. They wanted your improvement, but not your elevation. They celebrated your gifts as long as those gifts didn't outshine theirs. This separation serves a divine purpose. Heaven is creating space for connections that match your calling, not just your comfort. Spiritual alignments that will accelerate rather than anchor you. The enemy wants you to chase those who are leaving, to beg for acceptance, to diminish yourself, to maintain relationships. Don't fall for it. Every exit is making room for a divine entrance. Some of you are grieving connections you thought would last a lifetime. I understand that pain, but God is performing spiritual surgery, removing what would eventually infect your purpose. This separation also applies to environments, jobs, even geographic locations. Suddenly, places that once felt like home now feel foreign. Conversations that once engaged you now drain you. Systems that once supported you now confine you. Pay attention. This uncomfortable separation is the first stage of your timeline interruption. God isn't just changing your future, He's changing who walks beside you into it. The people who understand your evolution will remain. Everyone else is being lovingly removed. The intensity of warfare against you recently wasn't random, it was strategic. Every attack, every unusual obstacle, every sudden opposition came because your spiritual authority has matured. The enemy doesn't mobilize forces against what poses no threat. Let this sink deep. You're not being attacked because you're weak. You're being targeted because you're marked. The spiritual pressure has increased because your assignment has expanded. The resistance has multiplied because your influence is about to multiply. What looks like an attempt to destroy you is actually confirmation you carry something worth fighting against. Many of you have experienced shocking betrayals from those closest to you. People you invested in, prayed for, supported through their darkest seasons, suddenly turning cold, spreading rumors, misrepresenting your heart. This feels like personal rejection, but it's actually spiritual warfare. The enemy uses people to execute attacks. When someone turns against you without genuine cause, recognize the spiritual battle behind the human face. They became accessible to darkness because your light threatened what was hiding in them. Your tears in private, your prayers when nobody was watching, your faithfulness when it cost you everything, God saw it all. Heaven has been recording your endurance through impossible circumstances. What others called too sensitive, God calls discernment. What others labeled overthinking, Heaven recognizes as spiritual alertness. Your ability to sense things before they happen isn't anxiety, it's prophetic awareness being sharpened through pressure. Right now, Heaven is upgrading your spiritual armor. The attacks weren't meant to destroy you, but to expose where you needed strengthening. Every accusation, every rejection, every painful experience has been building spiritual muscle for what's coming next. Your enemies underestimated the weight of your prayers. They mistook your silence for surrender. They assumed your kindness was weakness. But all along, God was developing something powerful within you that only pressure could produce. You're not just surviving attacks, you're being prepared for authority. This isolated season wasn't abandonment, it was appointment. The wilderness looks like punishment to the untrained eye, but it's actually preparation. Every great vessel in Scripture experienced desert seasons before elevation. Many of you have felt forgotten, wondering if God still remembers the promises He spoke over you. The silence has been deafening. The waiting has felt endless. But what seemed like divine neglect was actually heavenly protection. You weren't ready for what's coming. Not because you lacked ability, but because your character needed strengthening. God loves you too much to elevate you prematurely. Premature promotion always leads to public pain. In this hidden season, Heaven has been healing wounds you didn't even know you carried. Trauma from childhood, rejection that shaped your self-perception, fear disguised as wisdom. While you were questioning God's timing, He was quietly restoring your foundation. The wilderness stripped away what you thought defined you: titles, recognition, platform, influence. It forced you to find identity beyond achievement. This wasn't cruel, it was necessary. What's coming will require you to stand secure when everything external shakes. Listen, I know you're watching quietly, just taking everything in. But chosen ones like you don't come across these messages by accident. If this is touching your soul, hit that subscribe button. Don't keep walking through spiritual warfare alone when a whole family of chosen ones is right here with you. Notice how your prayers have changed in this season. Less begging, more believing. Less panic, more peace. Less self-promotion, more kingdom focus. This shift didn't happen accidentally. It was cultivated through isolation. Some of you feel like you've lost precious time in this wilderness. But God doesn't waste seasons. What looked like delay was actually divine development. Skills were being formed, wisdom was being downloaded, spiritual muscles were being built. The pain of waiting has felt unbearable at times, but timing is everything in the kingdom. Had your breakthrough come earlier, it would have broken you. What you wanted immediately, God in His mercy withheld until you could steward it properly. Your wilderness wasn't wasted. It was weaponized for what's coming next. Not every open door is divine permission. Not every opportunity that glitters carries God's fingerprints. Many of you have chased what looked like answered prayer, only to find emptiness on the other side. These weren't failures. They were divine filtration. God allows certain opportunities to present themselves not for your advancement, but for your discernment. These false summits serve a crucial purpose in your development as a chosen one. They reveal what's still operating in your heart: ambition versus assignment, validation hunger versus divine calling, human timing versus heaven's calendar. Think back to those almost moments. The job that felt perfect until it suddenly fell through. The relationship that seemed divinely connected until it mysteriously dissolved. The open door that slammed shut without explanation. Your heart broke, your faith wavered, your mind questioned. But looking back now, can you see it? Had you entered those situations, your destiny would have been delayed by years. What looked like rejection was actually divine redirection. God loves you too much to let you build on borrowed vision. Those opportunities weren't meant for you. They belonged to someone else's assignment. Your spirit sensed it, but your need for movement, for validation, for visible progress tried to override divine caution. This is why God is interrupting your timeline, to protect you from more false summits. He's sharpening your spiritual discernment so you can distinguish between human opportunity and divine assignment. The enemy sends counterfeits before God sends fulfillment. Learn to recognize the subtle differences. Counterfeits bring instant gratification but delayed anxiety. Divine doors bring initial challenge but lasting peace. You've been asking for clear direction, but clarity often comes through elimination. Each closed door narrowed your path. Each disappointment refined your discernment. Each no moved you closer to your divine yes. Stop right here. If you haven't subscribed yet, ask yourself why. Every time you search for clarity, every time you feel overwhelmed, God guides you to messages like this. Don't reject what heaven is trying to give you. Subscribe so you stay connected to the voice that lifts you when no one else does. God is about to release direction so clear it will erase all confusion from previous seasons. Your divine compass is being recalibrated right now. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey where everything falls apart before it comes together. A divine breaking point where your strength fails, your understanding crumbles, and your self-sufficiency collapses. This isn't punishment, it's prerequisite for power. Many of you are in this breaking point right now. You've fought until your spiritual muscles gave out. You've held faith until your grip weakened. You've spoken positively until your voice grew hoarse. Now, exhaustion has set in. Doubt has crept through the cracks of your certainty. Tears have replaced declarations. God has not abandoned you in this breaking. He's actually closer than he's ever been. What you're experiencing is the necessary collapse of human effort before divine intervention. As long as you could handle things through your own strength, wisdom, or connections, God's power remained limited in your life. Your capability became your cap. This breaking point serves a sacred purpose. It's clearing ground for a miracle that requires emptiness before filling, weakness before power, surrender before victory. The enemy wants you to believe this breaking means you've failed, you've missed God, you're being punished. The exact opposite is true. You're being positioned for a display of divine power that could only come after human ability reached its end. Your tears in this season aren't wasted. They're watering seeds of promise beneath the surface. Your questions aren't faithless. They're creating space for deeper revelation. Your exhaustion isn't weakness. It's making room for supernatural strength. Remember Job? His breaking point preceded his double blessing. Remember Joseph? His prison of forgotten dreams became the pathway to his palace. Remember David? His wilderness weeping preceded his kingdom winning. Some of you have been praying for breakthrough, but God is doing something deeper. He's breaking through you, breaking through limitations you didn't know you had, breaking through mindsets too small for your assignment, breaking through fear disguised as wisdom. When everything seems darkest, when your prayers seem to hit the ceiling, when hope feels like a fading memory, that's when divine interruption is closest. Your breaking point isn't the end of your story, it's the beginning of God's chapter. Hold on just a little longer. Dawn always follows darkness. Resurrection always follows crucifixion. Divine power always shows up most clearly when human strength runs out. When God interrupts a timeline, it happens with holy precision, not gentle suggestion, but divine intervention. What you've been pushing toward for years can suddenly manifest in a moment. What seemed impossible yesterday becomes your reality today. The season of divine acceleration has begun for many chosen ones. Heaven is compressing time frames that should have taken years into weeks, days, even moments. This isn't random blessing, it's strategic positioning. Some of you have already felt the first tremors of this supernatural speed-up. Random phone calls offering opportunities you didn't apply for. Unexpected resources appearing when you had exhausted all options. Doors opening that you didn't even knock on. People suddenly recognizing gifting you've carried quietly for years. This acceleration feels both exhilarating and terrifying. Your spirit leaps at the movement while your mind scrambles to adjust. Is this really happening? You keep asking. After all the waiting, why now? Why so suddenly? God's timing often feels abrupt because we can't see the intricate positioning that happened behind the scenes. For years, heaven has been arranging people, resources, and circumstances, waiting for perfect alignment. Now that alignment has come, this interruption breaks all natural patterns. It defies human logic, human timing, human limitation. Things that should take months happen in days. Connections that would normally require years of networking appear suddenly. Favor that typically demands decades of proving yourself arrives overnight. The instant nature of this timeline shift will leave many questioning your journey. Where did this come from? They'll ask. How did this happen so quickly? They'll look for human explanation, connections, qualifications, hidden advantages, because supernatural acceleration is difficult for natural minds to process. This divine interruption serves multiple purposes. It glorifies God by removing all possibility you did this yourself. It confirms prophetic words spoken over you that seemed impossible. It positions you precisely where you need to be for kingdom impact. Some of you are afraid to embrace this acceleration because previous false starts left you disappointed. This is different. It carries a weight of certainty your spirit recognizes. It flows with an ease that human striving never produces. It comes with confirmation that only God could orchestrate. Prepare your heart for movement that defies explanation. Prepare your mind for acceleration that breaks natural laws. Prepare your hands to receive what prayer has requested for years. The timeline interruption isn't coming, it's already here. Every divine elevation comes with a season of exposure. As heaven lifts you higher, masks fall, hidden motives surface, and true loyalties reveal themselves. This exposure isn't punishment, it's protection. Many of you are watching people who once claimed to support you suddenly turn critical, distant, even hostile. Their words don't match their behavior. Their public praise contradicts their private conversations. What you're witnessing isn't a sudden change in them, it's a revealing of what was always there beneath the surface. God allows this exposure before your next level, because carrying the wrong people into your next season would sabotage what heaven is establishing. These connections would become cancerous to your calling, draining your energy, questioning your authority, and creating doubt in critical moments. The painful truth: some people were never celebrating you. They were tolerating you while you remained beneath them. Your elevation threatens their position, confronts their insecurity, and challenges their perception of their own importance. Your growth became their grievance. This exposure feels like betrayal, but it's actually divine intelligence. God is showing you exactly who people are before giving you greater influence. He's revealing character now so you won't be blindsided later when the stakes are higher. Notice the pattern in who's pulling away. Those who wanted access but refused accountability. Those who desired your platform but rejected your process. Those who sought your favor but shunned your feedback. Their departure isn't loss, it's liberation. The exposure extends beyond people to systems, organizations, even religious structures that once seemed supportive but now resist your evolution. What welcomed you when you were seeking has become uncomfortable with you when you're speaking. What embraced you when you were learning now questions you when you're leading. Some of you are grieving these revelations, wondering if anyone's loyalty is genuine. Take heart. Exposure always reveals both the false and the true. While some connections are dissolving, others are deepening. Those aligned with your destiny are drawing closer, becoming more committed, offering genuine support without hidden agendas. Don't fight the exposure process. Don't defend yourself against what God is revealing. Don't chase those who are distancing. This divine unveiling is preparing the ground for authentic connections that will sustain your next level. The masks falling now are saving you from wounds later. After the breaking, after the exposure, comes divine repositioning. God is not just changing your circumstances, He's changing your spiritual location, your access level, your authority position. This repositioning happens suddenly. One day you're fighting for every inch of ground, the next you're being handed keys to territories you didn't even pursue. One moment you're wondering if anyone sees your value, the next influential people are seeking your input. One season you're questioning if your gifts matter, the next you're watching those same gifts open doors you never knocked on. Pay attention to the unexpected alignments forming around you. People coming into your life who carry similar vision but different gifting. Resources appearing that perfectly match needs you haven't voiced publicly. Opportunities arising that feel custom designed for your unique calling. These aren't coincidences, they're divine coordinates. Heaven is positioning you at the exact intersection where your purpose meets kingdom timing. Some of you have already felt this shift. Conversations that once drained you now energize you. Work that once felt heavy now flows with ease. Relationships that once required constant maintenance now carry mutual respect and honor. This repositioning brings healing to old wounds. Spaces where you were previously rejected now invite your contribution. Areas where you were overlooked now recognize your value. People who couldn't see your worth before suddenly acknowledge your wisdom. Many of you have carried deep disappointment from missed opportunities, overlooked potential, and delayed recognition. The repositioning season addresses these very places. God is not just moving you forward, He's healing what happened behind you. Notice how obstacles that blocked you for years suddenly dissolve without explanation. Notice how connections you tried to force before now form effortlessly. Notice how doors you knocked on repeatedly with no answer now open before you even approach. This repositioning isn't just external, it's internal. Your confidence is strengthening, your discernment is sharpening, your emotional responses are maturing. You're finding yourself steady in situations that would have devastated you a year ago. God hasn't just been working on your circumstances. He's been working on you, preparing you to stand in the very position He's now placing you in. Chosen one, it's time to reclaim the authority that intimidation, rejection, and past failure stole from you. This isn't pride, it's stewardship of divine positioning. For too long, you've operated beneath your spiritual authority level. You've apologized for gifts that should be celebrated. You've minimized calling that should be magnified. You've shrunk your voice when heaven wanted it amplified. This season of diminished authority ends now. True authority isn't loud or forceful, it's centered and certain. It doesn't need to announce itself because it carries heaven's backing. It doesn't demand respect because it commands it naturally. It doesn't fight for position because it knows who positioned it. Many of you developed unhealthy patterns to cope with being misunderstood, over-explaining your decisions, seeking permission when you needed to take action, apologizing for strength that made others uncomfortable. These patterns kept you functioning but limited your impact. Breaking these cycles feels uncomfortable at first. Setting boundaries with people accustomed to unlimited access creates tension. Speaking truth without softening it triggers resistance. Making decisions without committee approval feels risky. But this discomfort is recalibration, your spirit adjusting to its proper authority level. Watch what happens as you stand firm in this reclaimed position. Situations that once controlled you now respond to you. Relationships that once drained you now respect you. Systems that once restricted you now make room for you. The opposition to your authority will increase before it subsides. When you stop apologizing for your calling, those who benefited from your insecurity will push back. When you enforce healthy boundaries, those who cross them will question your character. When you speak with heaven's authority, religious spirits will challenge your humility. Stand firm. Your authority isn't self-proclaimed, it's heaven-backed. Stop right here. If you haven't subscribed yet, ask yourself why. Every time you search for clarity, every time you feel overwhelmed, God guides you to messages like this. Don't reject what heaven is trying to give you. Subscribe so you stay connected to the voice that lifts you when no one else does. The authority you're reclaiming now isn't just for you, it's for everyone your assignment is meant to impact. Your confidence creates corridors for others to walk through. With increased authority comes increased responsibility. The elevation you prayed for carries weight you couldn't have anticipated. This is the rarely discussed reality of being chosen. Purpose is both privilege and pressure. Many of you are feeling this weight now, the constant awareness that your decisions impact others, the responsibility of stewardship over divine revelation. The pressure of knowing more is required from those who receive more. This heaviness isn't punishment, it's promotion. Notice how your tolerance for superficial conversation has decreased, how casual relationships no longer satisfy your soul, how entertainment that once distracted you now feels empty. Your capacity for depth has expanded, while your patience for shallowness has diminished. This creates a new kind of isolation. Even surrounded by people, you often feel alone in your understanding, your burden, your vision. This isolation isn't rejection, it's distinction. Eagles don't flock. They soar in spaces too high for the masses to follow. The weight feels heaviest when you glimpse the magnitude of what God has entrusted to you. The lives your assignment will impact. The generational patterns your obedience will break. The kingdom territory your faithfulness will establish. In these moments, inadequacy rushes in, whispering, "You're not enough for such calling." Remember, God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. The weight you feel is developing strength you'll need for what's ahead. The pressure is producing clarity that casual believers never develop. The isolation is creating intimacy with God that distracted people rarely experience. Learn to embrace the weight without being crushed by it. Acknowledge the responsibility without being paralyzed by it. Honor the calling without being consumed by it. This balance requires wisdom few understand, carrying kingdom purpose while remaining human. Functioning in spiritual authority while walking in humility. Leading others while remaining teachable yourself. Many chosen ones burn out because they never master this balance. They carry the weight alone instead of casting it on God daily. They measure success by activity rather than obedience. They sacrifice health on the altar of impact. Your effectiveness isn't determined by exhaustion but by alignment. The weight becomes lighter when carried in proper partnership with heaven. Not everything God shows you is meant to be shared. Not every revelation requires your voice. Not every divine download needs immediate distribution. There is power in strategic silence. The discipline of holding sacred what heaven entrusts to you. Many blessings have been delayed because of premature exposure, visions shared with the wrong people, promises announced before proper timing, revelation distributed without divine authorization. The enemy cannot stop what he cannot see. Some assignments require secrecy until manifestation. This silence isn't deception, it's protection. Jesus himself frequently said, "My time has not yet come." He understood divine timing requires divine discretion. He knew vision shared prematurely attracts unnecessary warfare, invites misplaced opinions, and creates resistance that could have been avoided. Some of you have experienced the pain of oversharing, the mockery that followed vulnerability in the wrong spaces, the warfare that intensified after announcing divine direction, the doors that closed because something sacred became public prematurely. These weren't punishments, they were painful lessons about spiritual discretion. Strategic silence serves multiple purposes. It shields developing promise from premature exposure. It tests your ability to steward revelation. It forces you to draw strength from God rather than human validation. It prevents others from interfering with what they cannot understand. Notice how Jesus operated. Public ministry, private explanation, public miracles, private prayer. public teaching, private restoration. This rhythm of revelation and restraint, disclosure and discretion wasn't coincidental, it was strategic. The pressure to share prematurely comes from multiple sources: the need for validation from others, the desire to prove God's activity in your life, the urge to defend against accusations of inactivity, the longing for confirmation that you heard correctly. Resist these pressures. Not everyone deserves access to your divine encounters. Your assignment carries too much weight for casual disclosure. Your calling has too much impact for careless conversation. Your purpose has too much value for indiscriminate distribution. Let results speak first. Let manifestation announce what whispers prepared. Let evidence validate what God revealed. This strategic silence isn't hiding, it's holy preservation of sacred purpose. When destiny finally collides with divine timing, everything changes. The moment purpose meets proper positioning creates a supernatural acceleration that defies human explanation. This collision point is where you now stand, chosen one. After seasons of preparation, purification, and positioning, heaven's calendar has aligned with your assignment. What seemed impossibly distant now stands directly before you. This timeline collision brings sudden clarity to past confusion. You'll look back at closed doors that once devastated you and whisper, "Thank you." You'll review relationships that painfully dissolved and realize, that was protection. You'll examine opportunities that mysteriously disappeared and understand, that would have taken me off course. The collision creates a strange emotional mixture. Gratitude for divine timing, alongside grief for time you thought was wasted. Peace about God's orchestration, alongside pain over human misunderstanding. Joy about present movement, alongside healing from past disappointment. Allow yourself to feel both. The tears of relief washing away years of questions, the excitement of movement dissolving months of frustration. The wonder of watching God compress time, folding years of expected progress into days of divine acceleration. This collision point reveals the perfection of heaven's timing. Had breakthrough come during your wilderness season, pride would have corrupted it. Had elevation occurred before character development, position would have destroyed you. Had access been granted before discernment matured, deception would have derailed you. What appeared to be divine delay was actually divine development. God protecting the promise by preparing the vessel. The collision also exposes the enemy's greatest fear, that you would reach this precise moment, this exact intersection of preparation and opportunity. That's why warfare intensified as this moment approached. That's why opposition increased as alignment neared. That's why confusion amplified as clarity was imminent. The adversary couldn't stop your timeline collision. He could only attempt to distract you from recognizing it when it arrived. Stay spiritually alert in this season. The collision creates momentum that can either propel you forward or throw you off balance, depending on your spiritual stance. Root yourself in gratitude, guard your focus, and remain humble as acceleration increases. Your suddenly moment wasn't sudden to heaven. It was meticulously planned from the beginning. After timeline collision comes manifested promise, the tangible evidence of what faith has held, what prayer has spoken, what hope has envisioned, the invisible becoming visible, the spiritual taking physical form, the prophetic word becoming present reality. This manifestation often appears first as small signs, subtle confirmations that breakthrough has begun. Pay attention to these initial indicators. unexpected resources appearing precisely when needed, strategic connections forming without your orchestration, opportunities aligning perfectly with your preparation, doors opening that require no human force. These aren't coincidences, they're confirmation. Heaven announcing that manifestation has started. The full blooming of promise rarely happens all at once. Like dawn breaking, it comes in stages. First light, then increasing brightness, finally full day. Each stage requires appropriate response. Gratitude for initial movement, stewardship of partial fulfillment, preparation for complete manifestation. Many chosen ones miss manifestation because they're looking for dramatic display when God is working through progressive development. They overlook the seed while waiting for the full-grown tree. They dismiss the cloud the size of a man's hand while expecting immediate storm. The manifestation period tests your faith differently than the waiting season. While waiting tests your patience, manifestation tests your stewardship. While delay challenges your trust, fulfillment challenges your wisdom. While absence tests your faithfulness, abundance tests your character. Some of you already stand in partially manifested promise, experiencing fulfillment of specific prayers while awaiting completion of the full vision. This middle place feels both satisfying and stretching. Gratitude for progress mingles with hunger for complete manifestation. Remember, what manifests first requires faithful administration before what manifests next arrives. God watches how you steward initial blessing before releasing additional provision. He observes how you manage partial revelation before granting deeper insight. He notes how you handle limited authority before expanding your influence. The manifestation period often brings unexpected emotions, overwhelm at divine generosity, unworthiness despite faithful preparation, fear of mishandling what prayer has requested. These feelings don't disqualify you. They reveal your reverence for what God has entrusted to you. As promise manifests, keep your heart humble, your hands open, and your eyes clear. What's appearing now is just the beginning of what heaven has planned. The elevation is not the end of your journey. It's the beginning of a new realm of existence. Everything operates differently in this higher altitude. The atmosphere is thinner, requiring deeper spiritual breathing. The view is clearer, revealing both beauty and responsibility. The influence is greater, demanding increased wisdom. This new realm feels both exhilarating and sobering. The joy of seeing prayers answered mingles with the weight of stewardship. The freedom of walking in authority blends with the responsibility of wielding it righteously. The satisfaction of vindication balances with the call to remain humble. Moving in this elevated realm requires new navigation skills. Old methods that worked in previous seasons now prove insufficient. Past reactions that seemed justified now feel immature. Former boundaries that appeared strict now seem permeable. You're learning to function in expanded authority without abusing it, in increased influence without exploiting it. Many stumble at this precise point, confusing position with permission, platform with purpose, visibility with value. Remember, elevation was never about you. It was always about divine assignment flowing through yielded vessels. The spotlight wasn't meant to illuminate you, but to highlight heaven's investment in you. Your breakthrough now becomes living testimony, evidence that delayed promise eventually manifests, that faithfulness ultimately receives reward, that divine selection outlasts human rejection. Your story converts from personal struggle to public encouragement, from private endurance to visible confirmation. This new realm also prepares you for greater assignments yet unrevealed. Current elevation is both fulfillment and preparation, the answer to previous prayers and the foundation for future calling. What feels like arrival is actually alignment for next-level assignment. Remain humble as honor increases. Stay teachable as influence expands. Keep listening as more speak your name. Continue serving as others serve you. This posture preserves the power of your elevation and protects the purpose of your platform. The new realm isn't just about achieving position, it's about advancing kingdom, not just reaching status, but releasing transformation, not just obtaining visibility, but offering hope. Before you go, chosen one, don't forget, the fact that you made it to the end of this message means something. Your spirit needed this. Don't walk away without subscribing. It costs nothing, but it means everything for the journey God is taking you on. Join the family. Your breakthrough might be in the next video.